Hi, my name is Zach Freeman, and welcome to PPCI, Poker Players Club International. I'm a sponsored pro and team member of PPCI, and it's the new location where you can learn, play, and win real cash prizes. I'm really excited to show you PPCI and to be a part of the team. I hope your experience is going to be as good as mine has been. We're jumping into a SitnGO here, a 5-player SitnGO. This is us on the right here. We have a suited connector in middle position. If this player folds, we're going to raise it up. We start with 1,000 in chips, you can see right here under our screen name. The blinds are shown down here, and it's 15-30 blinds. So if you notice, we have about 30 big blinds to start. So actually folding this hand is one option, since these type of hands work better with deep stacks. But we're going to start out with an aggressive image, and we're going to raise this. The blinds have started off early, so we're going to make it about 3 times the big blind to $100. We get this one caller. On this type of flop here, it's good to fire a C bet, a continuation bet. The pot is shown up here on the top. Pot is $245. We don't need to bet a whole lot. We can bet $105, a little less than half the pot. On this type of flop, it's really a texture of a flop that if his name is here, Huge Mungus, has not flopped either a flush draw or a pair or trips, he's going to have to fold. So there's not a ton of draws there. We can just make a small bet and take the pot down when he has missed completely as well as we have. That's what we do, and we accomplish our goal, and we pick up an easy 145 chips. Okay, next hand. Now we're in the big blind. We have King 3 of clubs. If there's a raise, we're not going to be calling. One of the best things you can do is to play tight out of position. You want to avoid marginal spots where you flop weak hands. So for instance, with this hand, we can flop a king at best, and a lot of times we're not going to be able to play it aggressively because we're going to worry about our kicker. But you can notice this guy here has limped. He's only called, no raise pre-flop, so we'll probably see a free flop. One thing to take note is that this player is probably not very strong, talented player, because in general it's not a great idea to open limp. You'll see in our articles and our video, all our strategy will show you that open limping is usually not a good idea. We do flop top pair. One option is to bet, but we can also check to induce some bluffs. When we check, we show weakness, and this player might take a stab at it. Now, if he now there's not much value in betting again. If he picks up a flush draw, he's most likely to bet, and if he has a 10, we're beat. So we can check again and hope that he bluffs. He does bet, and we call. Now the 3, even though it gives us 2 pair, it doesn't change anything if you can read the board. We really just still have kings and 10s with a 7 kicker. We check again, hoping that he bluffs. We can make a decision whether to call or fold, most likely calling, but he gives up, checks back, and we win the pot. Another weak, gapped, suited hand, tempting to call a raise with, and in this spot we don't even have to complete. But since we do have a Since this player's been shown to be pretty passive in the last hand as well, we'll call for the extra $15. Our pair of deuces on this board texture is very weak. There's lots of draws, flush draws, straight draws, and a lot of middling hands that will make top pair and middle pair. So we just check and give up. This player has bet $270 into a $150 pot. It's a little erratic, and we might get some information to see how this player is playing. This guy called down here at the bottom. Now we're at the river. The pot's 690, and he has about 610 left. He bet all but his last chips, usually a sign of weakness actually, and he calls quickly. He makes a courageous call with 10-3, maybe kind of reckless, and this is just a a bet that makes no sense. He turned bottom pair into a bluff, betting all his chips with bottom pair. So right now we can see that our competition isn't very strong. We don't know much about these other two guys here, the Cutter or Outer and Huge Mungus, but in general we're in a good spot. We're above the average chip level, and most of the players are making some erratic moves. We are going to be producing a lot of videos like this and other videos that are more geared towards specific subjects, and we encourage you to jump in on the forums, participate, and let us know what type of questions you have. You can also post specific hands that you're not sure if you played correctly, or just give us suggestions of areas in your game that you want to work on. Well, now we have a fairly strong hand. If this under the gun player raises, we can consider folding, but if it's folded to us, we will definitely raise. Now you can notice you want to take a look at stack sizes at all the times. The player in the big blind, the erratic player, only has 50 chips more than the big blind. So we don't have to raise much, especially since blinds are now 20-40 and stack sizes are fairly shallow compared to the size of the blinds. That means that the ratio to our stack sizes is fairly low compared to how big the blinds are. So making a small raise really gets the job done. That way, if someone comes over the top of us when we have a medium hand, then we have the opportunity to fold or just to make the correct decision. Here we get the small blind and the big blind calls. In this spot, against two players and one player all in, which is going to be forced to go to the showdown, there's no point in continuation betting as a bluff. We just check and hope to make the hand, and we do make a pair of jacks. And once the small blind checks twice, we can expect our jack to be good the fair majority of the time. We make a value bet to charge against draws and other weak hands, other weak pairs. Small blind folds, big blind was already all in, and we improve to the pair of jacks, which beats his 3-4, which is bottom pair on the flop. We knock that player out and we're in a good spot. Ace-3 of clubs, it's an option to raise this, but I think I'm going to opt to fold here, given that we are in first position. Our hand is a little bit hard to play with shallow stacks. If you flop an ace, you can easily be dominated. And one thing to notice was there was only one big blind out. The small blind wasn't posted because the player was just knocked out. That means there's a little less incentive to try to steal the blinds. So we'll just go ahead and fold. Another big bet here by this other player. The pot's 120 and he bet $815. You should start reading into bet sizing. A lot of weaker players will really telegraph their hand strength. A big bet like that is probably not trips very often, and you can see here it was just a 10 with a bad kicker. The player below had trips, made an easy call, and this player is now out. So now we're down to 3 players in this 5-person sit and go. We have 8-9 offsuit, definitely not calling a raise if raised to us, but this player has continually been passive by limping, allowing us to see free flops, and we will do so. Player Huge Mungus makes a large raise, and we have an easy fold. Now I chose a sit and go tonight just because I wanted to introduce you all to the software and get some quick strategy down. And a sit and go is basically just a quick tournament, a one-table tournament usually, where as soon as there's enough players to start the tournament, they start it. This one had a buy-in of 1,000 tournament points, and you can win the prize pool is more player points, which allow you to access tournaments with larger prize pools and cash prizes. Okay, against some players we would want to try to steal the blinds in this spot, but he has shown a propensity to make a lot of calls pre-flop, and with these we don't want to put ourselves out of position with a weak hand against someone calling a lot. Well, here we have a very strong hand on the button, 3-handed.
And as I said, stack sizes are fairly shallow still, 20-40 blinds. We only have about 30 big blinds. Pocket nines is very, very strong in that position. We make a raise to $100. This player folds, and now this player makes a big re-raise. Well, we have an option, a consideration of folding. If he has a bigger pair, we're in bad shape. But he can do this with a lot of other hands that we're flipping against, or even some smaller pairs. If he has pocket 8s, pocket 7s, pocket 6s, and such, he'll probably make that play. And given these stack sizes, we have to go with our hand. It should be a profitable move, and it was. We had a coin flip. We're slightly ahead against his ace-queen. He happened to hit trip queens on the turn, and we're out of the tournament. But we should be pretty happy with the decisions we made. All the decisions we made were based on all the information that we were picking up from our players. We ended up making pretty much every single decision correctly, including that loss at the end. And that's just what you have to try to learn, that making the correct decisions is what counts. The luck will eventually even out. This is Zach Freeman, and I hope you enjoyed the introduction to PPCI and our tournaments available for free. Please visit us at the by reading the pro articles, the videos, and get some practice in there and win some real cash prizes. Thanks again.